Hello everybody and welcome to another video of Wrestling Man's Retro Review. This is the only video series on YouTube dedicated to Coliseum home videos. For those of you who don't know what the Retro Review is, I'll briefly explain. 3 Coliseum videos are chosen. You, the viewers, get to pick which one I review. Whichever gets the most votes is the next Retro Review. Now, originally this video was to be reviewed the day of the Royal Rumble. However, while watching the middle of the tape, it started to act weird. So, I had to get another tape. But it's still the same one. The video that I will be reviewing today, Wrestling's Country Boys. It's all about Hillbilly Jim and his clan. Hosted by Mean Gene Okerlund, this video starts off not with a match, but with a series of vignettes. Hillbilly Jim's being trained by heavyweight champion Hulk Hogan as Hulk Hogan tries to get Hillbilly Jim ready to be a professional wrestler. Now we start off with Hillbilly Jim and Hulk Hogan up early in the morning, just like every Hulk Hogan workout there's been in the 80s. And Hillbilly Jim doesn't mind because he's from Mudlick, Kentucky. He's from the farm and he doesn't mind waking up early. So he tries the Hulk Hogan patented drink that he makes, and just like everybody else who's ever had one of his drinks, Hillbilly Jim does not like it. So after he finishes his drink, forcingly, we start to see the series of vignettes. Hulk Hogan and Hillbilly Jim doing weights and stuff, and Hillbilly Jim isn't really doing that good starting out on weights. So then we see Hillbilly Jim and Hulk Hogan working out in the ring. And while Hillbilly Jim is trying to say to Hulk Hogan, when am I going to wrestle? When am I going to wrestle? When am I going to wrestle? Hulk Hogan is still patient with him. So then we go to a second series of a montage of Hulk Hogan and Hillbilly Jim working out with weights. And while Hillbilly Jim is getting a little bit better, he's still not that good. So, this time, Hillbilly Jim and Hulk Hogan are in the ring again, and this time Hillbilly Jim practices on working on moves. One move in particular is the bear hug. So at the end, Hillbilly Jim's like, when am I going to get a match, Hulk? When am I going to get a match, Hulk? When am I going to get a match? And Hulk Hogan is like, you know, even though I don't think you're ready for the ring, brother, I've never seen a guy more determined to get inside the squared circle. So I'm going to try to work out a match for you within the next 2 weeks, brother. So then we go to a clip of Hillbilly Jim's very first match in the World Wrestling Federation against Terry Gibbs. Terry Gibbs, the founder, the owner, the CEO, and the creator of the Terry Gibbs School of Self-Defense. So we join this match in progress, and Terry Gibbs does have a bit of an advantage on him. But at the end, Hillbilly Jim gets Terry Gibbs with the bear hug and gets the win. What I enjoyed about the end of the match is after the bell rings, Hillbilly Jim checks on Terry Gibbs and he's like, you okay? You okay? And then Hulk and Hillbilly Jim celebrate. So now we go to one more montage of Hillbilly Jim and Hulk Hogan working out with the weights. And believe it or not, Hillbilly Jim is actually doing it. He's doing them the right way. So we go back to the ring one more time, and Hulk teaches Hillbilly Jim about the arm lock, the hammer lock, and how to get out of it. So Hogan teaches Hillbilly Jim many different ways to get out of it. So Hillbilly Jim attempts many different ways, but he gets out in his own way. So after that, Hulk Hogan comes back into the ring, and he presents Hillbilly Jim with the pair of boots that Hulk Hogan trained in for his World Heavyweight title match with the Iron Sheik. And Hillbilly Jim is so excited he picks up Hulk Hogan and he gives him a big old bear hug out of excitement. So then we go to Hillbilly Jim's debut in Madison Square Garden as he goes up against that cagey veteran, Rene Goulet. And for the most part, Hillbilly Jim does have the advantage in the match, although for a few short moments, Rene Goulet does get in a bit of offense. Now, the end of the match is very interesting because Goulet sort of does the Ric Flair flip going over the corner. He runs out on the apron to the top rope, attempts a double axe handle, but gets caught in the bear hug, and Rene Goulet submits. Hillbilly Jim wins his debut match in Madison Square Garden. Now, after the match, Rene Goulet has an altercation with Mr. T, and Goulet runs out. Now, during this match, you do see a couple of celebrities in attendance, like Andy Warhol, Danny DeVito, and Saturday Night Live alum Joe Piscopo. So then we are briefly mentioned of Hillbilly Jim having his leg broken and him being out of action for several months, which brings Hillbilly Jim into the role of manager. And we go to the body shop with Jesse the Body Ventura, where he introduces to the entire world Uncle Elmer. And Uncle Elmer is the big guy from Philadelphia, Mississippi. And Jesse goes up to Uncle Elmer and he's like, "You're a pretty big boy." And he's like, "I like to eat." And then Jesse says, "Are you a good wrestler?" "I like to scuffle." "You know what scuffling is, boy?" He goes, "What?" "That's what you call wrestling." And they all laugh. And then we go to Piper's Pit, where Hillbilly Jim introduces Uncle Elmer again, and Piper goes, "Well, any friend of yours is a friend of mine." And Uncle Elmer's like, "Don't you touch me." So, we go to Uncle Elmer being led by more of the Hillbilly Clan. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, it's just a bunch of fat people as security guards in the Capitol Center. Uncle Elmer comes out to the ring for his match with Tiger Chung-Lee. Now, during this match, especially the intro, I want you to keep an eye out for a very young Tony Chimmel. That's right, the ring announcer. He's wearing a sleeveless shirt. So anyway, this match with Tiger Chung-Lee is a very quick match. Uncle Elmer gets the win with a leg drop. So then we go to the next match of Uncle Elmer, where he wrestles in Madison Square Garden as he takes on Big John Studd. And surprisingly, this match is pretty decent. John Studd gets the advantage for a couple minutes, and then Uncle Elmer gets the advantage for a couple minutes. The end of the match comes when Uncle Elmer, after he hits the avalanche, attempts to body slam Big John Studd. However, Bobby Heenan gets in the ring and attacks Uncle Elmer. So Studd and Bobby Heenan attack Uncle Elmer, and then Hillbilly Jim comes back into the ring, and he throws Bobby Heenan out of the ring, and then John Studd runs away. Meanwhile, Uncle Elmer and Hillbilly Jim celebrate, and Uncle Elmer is dancing. You might want to be warned that you will see an over 400-pound white fat man dancing. So then we go to a clip of the TNT show where Hillbilly Jim and Uncle Elmer are having a barbecue. It starts with Hillbilly Jim and Uncle Elmer singing a song. What the song is, I don't know. So after that, they're all at the table. Uncle Elmer, Hillbilly Jim, Vince McMahon, and Lord Alfred Hayes. And they are about to have barbecue possum sandwich. So before they eat, Hillbilly Jim says a prayer. I want everybody to join me in this prayer. Good food, good meat, thank you, Lord, 'cause we're going to eat. Amen. So they offer Lord Alfred Hayes a sandwich. And this is probably my favorite part of the video. And he's like, "Can I have a tomato?" And Hillbilly's like, "What? Can I have a tomato?" "No, we're not going to be here tomorrow." "No, I just want a tomato." So they go back and forth, and he's, given buttermilk, and, and it's just a fun segment to watch, them eating barbecued possum. Okay. So then we are introduced to the third and final member, Cousin Jr. Now, Cousin Jr., his first match in this videotape is against Ron Shaw. Now, before the match begins, Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon are talking about how Uncle Elmer is getting married. And Jesse Ventura's reaction is classic. He's like, "Ugh, who would want to marry him?" So we actually get a quick match out of it, and Cousin Jr. gets a win with a mule kick. So then we go to once again, the Capitol Center over in Landover, Maryland, where this time he faces Adrian Adonis. Adorable. And, you know, this is somewhat of an interesting match because it's two contrasting styles, the bigger Adrian Adonis and the smaller Cousin Jr. The match ends when Adrian Adonis is disqualified for not listening to the referee's 5 count while beating down on Cousin Jr. And then we get, I'm going to say this right now, I've seen a lot of bad matches, but this has to be the worst match of all time. Cousin Jr. against Moondog Spot. Now, about a month or two ago on WWE Classics, the event that this match was on was shown. And I had to sit through that god-awful match. It is probably the worst match I have ever seen in my life. Thankfully, the folks at Coliseum Video realized some 27 years before I make that statement that this match was awful. So they had to clip the match. Now, there is one funny part in this match that I enjoyed. And that is when the fans are chanting, boring, boring, boring. Moondog Spot's like, so the fans get louder. But Cousin Jr. does get the win. Then we go to our final match of the tape. It's a tag team match. Barry O and Jerry Adams against Uncle Elmer and Cousin Jr. Now, again, I've got to warn you. In this match, Uncle Elmer's not wearing a shirt. He's not wearing a shirt. You can see his damn underwear. But this is a quick match again, and Jesse and Vince are talking about who they think will be the manager of the year. And Hillbilly Jim is one of the candidates. But Uncle Elmer and Cousin Jr. pretty much take control of the match. They get the win. And now to the grand finale of the tape. The wedding of Uncle Elmer. I reviewed the wedding of Uncle Elmer in the second Saturday Night's Main Event video blog, where I talked about the wedding. This is actually the first known wrestling wedding, or one of the first known. And unfortunately here, it gets clipped. It gets clipped. We only see the part where Joyce walks down to the aisle to get married, and then we see the end of the wedding where Roddy Piper interrupts, you know, saying, you stink, this whole damn wedding stinks. And then they kiss, and they all live happily ever after. The end. So, what did I think about this videotape? Well, it's very interesting, because I actually had a bit of low expectations going into this tape. However, the first half of this tape, from Hillbilly Jim's workout up until the barbecue, is actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie. There's some entertaining stuff on there. It's after the barbecue where it goes down. I'm not blaming it on Cousin Jr. It's just, the matches just weren't clicking. And even though the wedding is on the tape, the fact that they don't show the entire wedding in the commentary hurts the end of the tape and the value of it a little bit. So, I will say that while this tape has its good moments and its bad moments, it's really your choice if you want to see the video or not. I'm not going to force you. I will say that you should get this tape if you want to see quality wrestling entertainment, but I should warn you, on the flip side, there is some bad stuff on there. So, now, usually at this point I'd end the video. However, because this was the third video in the fourth series of videos released by the World Wrestling Federation, I am now going to tell you from the fourth series, in order, gold, silver, bronze, which was the best. Now, the three videos were WWF's Amazing Managers, Wrestling's Country Boys, and the Best of the WWF Volume 4. Now, this is a very interesting decision, but this is how I would go. The gold goes to the Best of the WWF Volume 4. just because of what matches they had, including Orndorff and Piper, the tag match with the Near Riot in Boston, the Battle Royal, and a very good tag team match to end the video. Then I would go for the silver, the Amazing Managers, and unfortunately, I gotta go Wrestling's Country Boys with the bronze, even though they had a strong beginning to the video, but their ending was a little bit weak. Well, that does it for this retro review. The next time I will be doing a retro review will be WrestleMania weekend. As a matter of fact, it'll be the day of WrestleMania, Sunday, April the 1st. Remember, you can find all Coliseum videos either on Amazon.com or on eBay. Make sure that you check out all the Coliseum videos. This has been the Retro Review.